Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now. Hello world, I'm Chris Pirillo, and this is the Locker Gnome Daily Report, your daily dose of tech news, gadget views, and answers that you can use. And just a few minutes ago on YouTube, I streamed the live unboxing of my very first BlackBerry, a BlackBerry Z10, sent to me by someone at AT&T, and thank you for that. Haven't had enough time to give you my initial impressions, but stay tuned for that video. I'll also be posting that to this very channel. Don't know if I'm going to do that one live yet or not. Maybe you want me to do it live, let me know in the comments below. That's cool. So here's the thing. I don't usually like talking about rumors, but there's been something that's going around that's, I think, more than a rumor at this point, and I'm just as concerned about it as many other people are. It's something surrounding the idea that the next Xbox will have an always-on or needing to always be online component to it so that you couldn't use it if you weren't connected to the internet. I think that if this turns out to be true, it's a monumental mistake that Microsoft may pay the price for. And I mean they'll pay the price in the sense that I don't think a lot of the hardcore gamers are really going to be into that, especially when they know that their internet connection may be metered, it may be flaky. They don't want an always-on gaming console. And to tell you the truth, I don't blame them. Keep in mind, I have 4 or 5 Xboxes in my house, used primarily as DVD players, also entertainment consoles. And every once in a while, yeah, I do happen to game, although you're not likely to catch me doing much of that online. 'Cause you'd wipe the walls with me. Why would I just walk into a deathmatch knowing I'm going to lose? As I said before in a TLDR earlier this week, just say that you played me and you beat me. Just assume it, okay? I'll give you the bragging rights for having played and beat me. So here's the thing. We had written up a post on lockergnome.com, and other entities have actually done the same, including a video which you may have already seen. Francis is mad, Xbox 360 or Xbox always on requirement. And that, by the way, that video is very not safe for work, but I think it put a finer point on why this could be a big problem. And I don't talk about rumors, but what kind of set me off to believing this may be more than a rumor is the creative director for Xbox there at Microsoft, Orth. Well, that's his name as he goes by as Adam Orth or Adam_Orth on Twitter, had tweeted as the scuttlebutt was proliferating, "Sorry, I don't get the drama around having an always-on console. Every device now is always on. That's the world we live in. Deal with it." That was a hashtag. That elicited a few responses, including one from Manveer. "Did you learn nothing from Diablo 3 or SimCity? You know some people's internet goes out, right? Deal with it is a..." He kind of is not safe for work as well, but he says it's a bad reason. And I kind of agree with that. And Orthy comes back and says electricity goes out too. And I get that, but I'm not sure if he quite understands not everything that can be connected needs to be connected all the time. Certainly, if you don't know what's going on, or if you can't use the device, if you can't use it in general, if it's not connected. And it's too much of a rumor right now, but it's the fact that he came out as someone who works there and is basically kind of putting a spin on it before anything becomes official. It kind of wraps up in a rather snotty way. Manveer comes back and says, "You've lived in LA, SF, Seattle, very connected places. Try living in Janesville, Wisconsin, or Blacksburg, Virginia." He replies again and says, "Why on earth would I live there?" Which I think he meant it in a flippant way, like, why would I live there? And didn't mean it in a to be mean kind of way. However, I think that's how the internet's taking it. It wasn't a great way to respond to that, considering how many people use the Xbox and love the Xbox, love it as a platform for gaming and entertainment, and are now faced with the idea that to use it, you would need to be online. And let's face it, if you had to use an always-on device and your DSL was just barely moving things along, or if you couldn't even get DSL, why would you get a device like that? You wouldn't. So that could potentially push you to another device entirely. And this is why it's a bad move, potentially, because we already have disruptive gaming consoles like the Ouya. If I'm saying that wrong still, I apologize. Not only is that insanely more affordable, but it also doesn't come with all these crazy restrictions that Microsoft has been used to dealing with and could potentially be pushing down the pike. And it's the fact that someone from Microsoft who is in the know posted this stuff to Twitter, I think makes it more than just a rumor at this point. And I would just encourage anybody at Microsoft who's listening to pay attention to what's going on. You are not doing yourself any favors. Jump into the conversation. Just talk to us. If you're going to do this, at least listen to the people who want to buy your product and are just not hip with your idea of having it needing to be online. You've got to accommodate them. How many millions of Xbox customers will you lose at a time where Microsoft, you just can't afford to lose any more customers? Listen to them. Engage with them. Put someone on this now. And I'm upset because I don't think it's a good move. One, I know I wouldn't want to have an always-on device, because I don't use the Xboxes as much as many of you do, but anything that's going to siphon away the precious bandwidth that I have now, not knowing what's going on, we're not there yet. Not even close to being there yet. Very few people are there, and I think a majority of your Xbox customers are going to be former Xbox customers. And this is the time to address them. Use Twitter, use YouTube, get Major Nelson on this if he hasn't been put on this already, to stop this from spinning out of control, further out of control than it already has. Because this has set off a firestorm, and rightfully so. We posted our own thoughts on LockerGnome.com, how always online Xbox could ruin Microsoft gaming. And I think that's a possibility. There's too much competition out there, and unless you live and die by playing Halo and some Xbox-only titles, I think the idea of switching to another platform is a possibility. I don't even know if I'm going to be upgrading my Xbox 360 because I don't know what the next Xbox is going to have to offer me to make me want to upgrade. So I'm doing this video, if only to say, I hope that someone at Microsoft's listening and watching what your community is telling you. You have to interact with them, and I don't mean by issuing a press release. Jump into the fray. Jump in and tell them what's going on, and more importantly, don't do this. Don't go with the whole always online thing. You already have your power users telling you it's a bad move, and when your power users are telling you that, you have to wake up. Wake up, please. Before this gets any further out of control or certainly out of your hands, it's not about spin. You got to address it. Jump right in. That's what Twitter's there for. That's what YouTube's there for. Facebook. Talk to your community. They want to talk to you. They love you enough to tell you that you may be going down the wrong path. And there's time. Theoretically, there's time to turn this around if that's the way your ship is headed. And I have no reason to believe anything other than that after seeing Adam's comments on Twitter. Even though, yes, I forgive Adam for saying what he said at the end because I think he did it. He was being tongue-in-cheek, but it just came across the wrong way, especially in relation to having a very defensive statement of having an always-on device. You gotta pay attention to your core community, and hopefully, my core community appreciates me having said this. And maybe you didn't know this was happening already. Maybe you didn't know where I stood on this whole thing if you didn't even know it was happening in the first place. So thanks again. I always appreciate the things you do, especially when you like the things that I do or share the things that I do with other people on social media. I am doing my best to stay connected with you in every possible way, including through the free LockerGnome app on iOS and Android. We send out the push notifications for the live video feed when it was happening, and I hope everybody received them. If not, we are working on pushing an update out to those free applications so that issue, if it is an issue for you, will be fixed. I don't know if the LockerGnome app will work on a BlackBerry in the Android wrapper. Someone might want to try it. I may have to try it just to see if it works in some way, shape, or form. But either way, I'm very, very grateful that you choose to connect with me whenever you need to connect with me. And I'm always going to be there for you until I'm no longer around, in which case you can watch this video again. We'll see you later.